Alright guys, what's up? So, today we're going to kind of talk about a couple tips that I might have. I'm not claiming to be any sort of a pro or anything like that, but over the past 2 wipes, I have gained a lot of knowledge compared to what I started with, obviously. So, I'm going to try and give some of you guys a little bit of that knowledge. If you already know it, sweet. If not, hopefully it can be of use to you in the future. We'll start out with gun building. For me, I'm a hoarder of attachments. I like hanging on to attachments like this. That way it saves me money in the long run. And then eventually, if I need the money, I have some stuff to sell. So basically, the way I like to build my guns is come right click, come down to modding, and then modding will only show you things that you have in your inventory. So let's say, for example, I want to look at a laser. Right now I have a 25mm ring with nothing in it and a Boulder Pro. Now, that is just stuff I have in my inventory. If we go over here, right click and hit edit preset, this is anything. You could put any of this stuff on. So I don't have any of this in my inventory, so anything other than this Boulder Pro right here, I'll have to pay for in order to put it on the gun. So if it's not something you're into, don't hold on to them. Just use the edit preset. If not, if you are okay with holding on to some attachments, this is the way I do it. Come into modding, and I'll go through all my attachments, and I'll say, oh, I have a suppressor. I'll put a suppressor on. I have a couple sights. This one will be good. Let's see, I got some grips. Let's put this one on. And a laser. Now, personally, I like to put my laser, flashlight, whatever, on the right side of the gun, just so it's not blocking anything on this side for me. Some people it might not bother. Other people it might. I'm one of those people that it bothers. So I'll show you what I mean here real quick. We'll pop into the hideout. It would help if I had the gun. Now, another tip. Let's say you have a backpack on. If you hit control and you click on the gun, it'll put that gun directly into your backpack and you won't have to sit here and drag it. And if you have a bunch of other stuff in here, foot angle, as long as you have the room, you can just left control, click. Now, if you want to equip the gun, hold left alt and click. It'll put it right to its respective position. So let's say a face cover. If you have one in your inventory, you can just alt, click, there it is, right on your guy. When you're in your hideout like this, you can of course just use this new menu they just implemented. It's super nice. But say you're out in the field, you just got to kill the guy that you've killed has better gear than you. If you want to put it in your inventory, left control, click. You want to put it on, left alt and click. It's that easy. Now, I got a tack rig down here full of ump mags. Go into the hideout. It's not that big of a deal, but it's currently out of my field of view. Now if I come back and I switch this over to the other side, and it's there. Like I said, it's not really something that's make or break. It just cleans things up for me, and personally I like to stick to the right side of the gun. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about, keybinds. Somebody else's keybinds might not be the most comfortable for you. So literally just, there is no set role on what you have to use for your keybinds. Just pick whatever's most comfortable. From the start, like the beginner settings, Q and E are your lean left and lean right. For me, I don't like that because then I can't be moving right and also hit E at the same time without taking my middle finger off of the W key. So I got two little buttons right here on my mouse, one right here, one right here, and I use those for my lean keys. So that way I can be full range of motion and lean whenever I need to. Same goes for my fire select. I don't like that the fire select is right next to the button that pulls out your melee. So in order to prevent hitting the melee on accident in a quick moment whenever I need to change fire rate in a fight, there's another button right here on my mouse you push down, and that changes my fire rate. So honestly, don't let anybody tell you what what keybinds are good, what keybinds are not good. You pick whatever feels good to you. Like the toggling on and off the tactical device, I think the base setting is T, but for me, I like the middle mouse wheel click. That's usually your free movement for your head, but for me, that's E. So like I said, it's personal preference with everybody. Just find whatever works for you and use that. Back on the topic of gun builds, if you're looking to build a gun that has the best possible recoil that you can make it have, or the best possible ergonomics you can make it have, easiest way to tell is go to Edit Preset. There's this little info box over here. Click on this and just start going through things like your grip. If you sit here and hover over this grip, it shows you the ergonomics. Right here's your ergo. It's +5 for this grip, +6 for this, +7 for this, and so on. And you can just find out which one is going to give you the best ergo. And then there's other options for, like recoil control. This will give me -8 vertical recoil and -35 horizontal recoil. The only downside is the durability burn. Suppressors destroy the durability of your gun. So they will suppress your shots, make you harder to pinpoint, but it will destroy your weapons faster. So if you're on a budget, maybe suppressor's not the best option because it's going to destroy your gun. You're going to have to keep either repairing it or replacing it. Just a little thing to keep in mind. All these stats are useful, by the way. Another topic, insurance. Some people will say don't use insurance, it's a waste of money. Some people will say it's the best thing ever. Personally, I think insure everything. And this is why. Come in here, all this stuff, even this right here, I can still make money by selling this if I don't want to keep it. Being that it's completely destroyed, I could just take it over here and sell it to Fence, and I'll still make some money back off of it instead of just not having it at all. And then, say I went into a raid and I was wearing this helmet here. It's got 20.2 durability, and I find this one here, it's got 25 durability. I drop this helmet, put this one on, extract, I keep this helmet, and then the next day I get this one back in insurance. So technically, without, having the extra weight on your character to carry out of the raid, I get to keep this helmet and I get this helmet. So you can definitely increase all your gear in your stash by doing it this way. I do it with masks as well, just because it costs half the money to insure something that it would to be just buy it again. So I'll drop them, grab another one in raid, bring it out. It's better than buying one, in my opinion. I do that with all my stuff, and I think it's a great idea. Keeps your stash full. Unfortunately, I had a pretty rough last couple days, and I was just blowing through gear trying things, so it is nice to get all this back. Just a little tip that I like to use myself. And on the topic of destroyed armors, if you need to spend money with your traders to level them up, so Skier is one of the ones that you need to spend money with in order to increase his level. It's all of them, but the 3 you can use to repair your armor are Prapper, Skier, and Mechanic. So if you need to spend money to level up your traders, when you repair something, you can either use Prapper, Skier, or Mechanic, just to get yourself a little bit of extra money spent with your traders to help level them up. Alright, so now I'm going to throw us into a little offline raid here, so that way I don't got to worry about fighting other players while I'm trying to talk to you guys. I want to show you a couple things that you can do in raid to make life a little easier. Now, one of the things I like to bring in every once in a while is this. This is a 6P1 SB1-2 gas tube with an X47 handguard on it. This allows you to put a foregrip, a scope, tactical devices, and I think another scope on top of all these slots. And this is usually a 2-slot item, but if you pair it with the gas tube, it takes up 1 slot. So you can put all kind of attachments on that gas tube to get out of raid, secure loot in case something were to happen. You can still sell it and still make some money. See if he has anything to help show what I mean. No, not really. But again, here, this is the same thing. If I wanted to put this gun in my bag, left control, click. If I want to equip it, right, left alt, and click. Super quick, helps you get in and out with looting. Something else that I've come to do in later wipes of Tarkov, it's not new knowledge, but it is useful. Whenever you use up ammo in your mags, always bring a little bit of extra ammo. I usually keep it in my secure container, but if I have extra, I'll put it in my bag. Always bring a little bit of extra ammo to make sure you're topping off your mags. Getting into a fight with a half a mag is almost always going to get you killed. So make sure you're topped off on ammo as much as possible all the time. And also, if you look up in the top left corner of the screen, I have my health condition always on. For me, it's helpful because without that setting, it'll show you when you get damaged, what part of you is hurt, but then it'll disappear. So then if you're in the middle of a fight, it shows up, you know, it tells you where you're hurt. Then by the time you finish the fight, it's disappeared, and it's just not there to remind you that you're hurt. So you may forget. Having it always on like that, you look up, you see, oh, I'm a little bit hurt. I like to keep my heals set on keybind so that I can do it real quick. Like for instance, my HP restoration is on 4 right now. And it'll just start healing me and I can keep moving. I don't gotta stop. I can keep covering ground if I need to, and I'm healing my player at the same time. Okay, so I finally found a scav that had an attachment that I can show you. Right now, he's got this 25mm ring mount with a flashlight on it. We can hit Control, click, put it in our inventory, and we just slide it down here. Now that's 2 1-slot, items that are in 1 slot. You can do that with flashlights, lasers, small sights like holographics and stuff. You can't really do it with like a full-blown sniper scope or anything like that. But grips, all that. You can put that on that little tool, and when you get out of the raid, you'll have it on you, securing the loot. And you get to sell it or use it whenever you want. Alright, so next tip I wanted to talk about has a lot to do with the weight system in Tarkov. So in Tarkov, when your character's heavy, it drastically affects his movement and everything, your stamina, all that. So I'm going to stop running here right now, and it takes him a little bit to stop moving. And my stamina is draining fast. See how it takes him a while to slow down? He takes a couple extra steps. Now, that's because we're currently 51.2 kilos and we're very heavy. So, if you're about to get into a fight or you need to make a jump that you don't think you can normally make, the stock keybind for this is double tap Z. Now we are 17.2 kilos, and when I stop running, he stops immediately. If you're running up to a corner to peek it, you're going to stop when you want to, and you're not going to blow through the corner. and overexpose yourself. In the same notion, if you need to make a jump, normally you couldn't make something like that with 50 kilos on your back. So, with that in mind, the double tap Z command for dropping your backpack is really useful. Instead of coming in here and hitting discard, it's just real quick, just double tap the key, drops your bag, move on. Just don't forget where you leave your bag. I've done this before, and it really hurts to lose all your loot that you've been looting the whole match just because you dropped your bag quick to go check on something. It does hurt. Another useful tip, always use containers. And what I mean by that is, stuff like this Gingy keychain. So it takes up 1 slot, holds 4 keys. Now, if you keep something like that in your secure container, put them in there, that frees up extra space in your backpack, and it secures the loot, so no matter what happens, you get out with it. Injector's case does the same thing. It's a 1 slot item, gives you 9 slots. You can use it to, anytime you find any injectors, you can just throw it right in your injector case and you're good to go. Wallet, good for money and labs cards. Dog tag case, obvious. And Doc's case. Doc's case will hold keys, money, things like the Veritas guitar pick, a GP coin, bitcoins, diaries, stuff like that. So I always keep one in my secure container. That way if I find something like that, I can throw it in here. It keeps space open in my backpack, and I can still secure the loot. Whether I get out or whether I die, I will have everything that's in my secure container. So like I said, that goes the same with this attachment tool that I can sit here and continuously load attachments onto. I get out of the raid, I keep them, and I could sell them on the flea. If I don't make it out of the raid the right way, I at least still have all those attachments that I can either sell to vendors or I could use them for future gun builds. Another little tip I've come across on terms of headsets. Everybody has an opinion on what the best headset is. I think Contact 4s right now are just like clearly the best headset, but they're expensive. And the farther you get into the wipe, the more expensive they get. Personally, I enjoy the TAC Sports, Peltor Tactical Sport headset. What I can say is if you can consistently use the same headset every time, do it, because each one sounds a little different and you're going to start to recognize sounds. If you use the same headset, you're going to start to recognize sounds, and it's going to be really easy to pinpoint noise, like where it's coming from or what it is, if it's up, down, stuff like that. So if you can, always try and use the same headset. Personally, like I said, I like to stick to the TAC Sports. They got a good combination of treble and bass. I think they're pretty leveled out, and they usually go for about 28K. So relatively not that expensive. Now, if we come over here and look at the Contact 4s, they're 82K a pop. So they're clearly the best headset, but like I said, they come with a price tag. So with that in mind, stuff like the Contact 2s, they're a bit of a crunchier headset. They're a little bit more high on the treble end. They're somewhat similar to what you can buy from Trapper Level 1. It's like the GS13s or something of that nature. GSSH01. These are very crunchy headsets. They are very high on treble. They have basically no bass. You might like them, you might hate them. Like I said, just play around with headsets. Find the one you like. Try and consistently run that headset. That way you know what you're hearing at all times. Now, in terms of the Hideout, obviously you want to try and get all of your Hideout modules up and running as soon as possible, upgraded, everything like that. One that I think is very important is the shooting range. Now, right now, mine's only level 1. I'm working on getting to it. It's just all these parts are a lot of money, and I don't feel like carrying motors out every raid because they're super heavy. And yeah, so I mean, like a lot of this stuff you can find, like one tape measure, easy, one box ram, easy, screws, easy, you know. So just like picking this stuff up, just take a mental note of this before you head into a raid so you know what to look for. Pick that stuff up, try and get it out, get this shooting range leveled up as soon as possible. Because that just makes it so you can come in here and make sure you know what you're getting into with your gun builds. It'll help you practice target acquisition. It'll help you learn the recoil of your guns. Like this is a really simple gun to control the recoil on. Basically, you just have to point it wherever you want, and it's super easy. But guns like the G36, in my opinion, they have a lot more of a jump. Originally, you got to really yank down right from the start. That way, you're not immediately blowing rounds up over their head and then waiting for your PMC to automatically pull the recoil back down to where it needs to be. So this is where you can come to learn your recoil. As you level up the hideout, you'll get moving targets and you can practice your tracking, stuff like that. So in my opinion, one of the best hideout upgrades you can do is the shooting range. Because after all, this is a shooter game. So as much as you can, focus on getting that hideout upgraded, shooting range portion of it. That way you can practice your shooting and get better. Now in terms of looting, everybody says try and stick to a 10K per slot kind of mentality. So with that in mind, right here we got the Zippo lighter on the flea market. It's selling for 5K right now. Not a very good slot. Matches, 10K a slot. Print control boards, 20K. Gold chain, 25, 26. So with that in mind, a motor sells for 96K. That's well over the 10K per slot mentality. That's worth picking up. Now the only thing you got to worry about is the weight of the item. It's 1.4 kilos. That's 0.1 kilo. So 4 of these is definitely not one of these. So like I said, certain things have higher weight to them. You just kind of have to keep an eye on that. But try and stick to the 10K per slot mentality. That way you're coming out with the most money from every raid. Another thing to pay attention to is your skills. You have your endurance, strength, vitality, health, metabolism. It goes on. But leveling up these skills give you certain buffs. Like right now, my endurance is at level 8. I have an increase in stamina by 8%, reduces jump stamina drain by 5%, increases breath holding time by 16%, and reduces breath recovery time by 8%. You level this up, these buffs get stronger. Leveling up your strength, you're going to want to carry some heavy items. You're going to want to be going into raids, picking up, everything you can and getting out, running with it. Just that'll help level up your strength. From what I can tell, endurance is leveled up by going a little bit lighter in raid and running a lot. So me personally, kind of a goblin. So my strength is way higher than my endurance. It's because I'm usually carrying around too much loot and I'm very heavy. So I need to work on going in a little lighter sometimes, try and bring up my endurance to try and increase these buffs. And it goes for everything. Assault rifles, the more you use assault rifles, the better you get with reload speed, weapon switching speed, recoil, and weapon ergo. We got things like I was talking about earlier, mag drills. Always taking in that extra ammo and packing mags again to make sure you got full mags. The more you do that, it gives you a buff on ammo loading speed, unloading speed, increases the speed of a mag check, and it increases the accuracy of a mag check. What I mean by that is if you hit Alt-T in a raid while you're holding a weapon, it'll pull out your mag and it'll check to see how much ammo is in there. The higher your mag drills are, the more accurate that ammo count is going to be whenever your PMC pulls that mag out and looks. So basically all these skills are worth leveling up. Just try and focus on them every once in a while. Just come in here and peek. see what you can try and do to maybe try and level that stuff up as much as you can. Eating while you're in raid increases your metabolism. So right now we are level 27 on our metabolism, and we are very close to being level 28. So when you're in raid, find some food. If it's just, like a Vita juice or, apple juice or something like that, you don't want to carry it around. Instead of just leaving it in the container, go ahead, eat and drink, whatever. Get that stuff used up, increase your metabolism skill. So yeah, like I said, guys, this wasn't really a PvP guide or a how to learn every single map kind of thing. It was just basically, little tips that could help make your life in Tarkov just a little bit easier. I'll try and drop some more next week, but for now, I think we covered a couple good bases, trying to make things a little easier, like hideout management and, using your gear, how to equip and unequip items as quick as possible whenever you're looting and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think that's where we're going to call it for today. So, if you guys found any of this information useful or interesting in any way, go ahead and drop a like on the video. If you want to come back and see more content like this or future gameplay videos, go ahead and hit subscribe. Make sure to turn on the notifications. Click on the little bell. That way you get notified every time I drop a video. I try and drop a video every Sunday/Monday morning. Like if you like, subscribe if you want to see more. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.